Hello and welcome to This Car Pod.
I'm Filippo.
I'm Nick.
And I'm Doug. And we got a big podcast for you, starting with the news. Nick, start us off.
All right. The new BMW X5 has officially been released, and boy, is it a looker.
Yeah, it's... You know, do you like how it looks?
I do like how it looks, yeah. And by the way, good news, the X headlights that look like the cartoon emoji character dead face, you can remove, like there's a button to turn off one of those sets. So there's flashes, not X's.
I do not love how it looks, but primarily only because of the wheel arches. I think everything else looks pretty good. The wheel arches are sort of cartoonishly exaggerated in kind of an odd way. Sorry, I have to get low because Sean got mad at me for getting low earlier. They're exaggerated in kind of an odd way. And other than that, I think it looks like, I mean, it's fine. It looks like a new car.
It's a new class BMW. That's what they all look like, more or less.
Yeah. When is this coming?
2027 is the model year. They revealed it at their factory in America, in South Carolina.
October. Yeah. And that's going to be great. And then it'll go on sale. And then other ones are coming in early 27. This is fantastic. There's going to be an electric. It's going to have a 435-mile range. Nick, you pumped for that?
I can't get past the looks, although the rest of that sounds pretty competitive. The outgoing model is just so classically handsome and good-looking.
It's so boring. It's so dull. It looks so generic. Like, I hate to say it because it's a fantastic car, but, like, the X5 has not been a, like, interesting car for a lot of generations. And they decided to do Volkswagen Atlas wheel arches this time, and I'm interested.
To go just a tiny bit deeper, 5 powertrain options. The 40 will be the regular B58 with a mild hybrid. 50E will have plug-in hybrid, 483 horsepower. An M60E will be a plug-in hybrid with more power. Electric, as Doug said, with 435 miles of range, which is really strong. And they've also said there will be a hydrogen model, although they don't have a timeline for that, and it will never happen.
Have you seen the interior? Do we have an interior photo? It's quite something.
It's a lot of screen. It really does match the other new class BMWs.
It looks
like a wide, like upper display, and then a large driver's display with the same like cut corners that the 3 Series and the X3 have, and then a passenger display too.
There's also a 4-spoke steering wheel. Does that bother you, Nick? The 4th spoke is vertical at the top.
Yeah.
That is an odd choice. I would prefer a cleaner 3-spoke. Honestly, though, all of these, they did a good job at spicing it up without making it too polarizing like some of their designs. I don't love it. I'm not the target audience. I think it's fine.
You are literally the target audience. You have a couple of kids.
What's funny,
you live in the San Diego suburbs.
Nick wouldn't buy a new car if he got slapped in the face by the new car fairy.
I'm actually considering the XC90, which, funny enough, they did the most boring redesign ever. Like, it's hard to tell the difference between the two.
This was like 3 years ago, Filippo. He's telling us.
It was a year and a half ago, and it looks worse than before. Yeah, it was a good update.
Every facelift looks worse than what came before it, without exception.
Ooh, don't agree, but that's okay.
LP640 to the LP580.
What don't you think the LP580 looked better?
No, the other way around. The facelift looked better. Were you saying the opposite?
The pre-facelift car always looks better than the facelift car, 100% of the time without exception.
The E90 regular LCI looks better, I think.
That's the one exception. I was going to say that. That's the one exception. The LCI E90s look better. The life cycle impulse, as we call it as BMW enthusiasts. The Gallardo situation was made much worse with the facelift. They facelifted the front and not the rear, which is a mistake that a lot of automakers make. And it looks heinous. The early Gallardos look the best, but the later ones are the best.
I was arguing Murcielago. The LP640 Murcielago looks better than the pre-facelift owner.
Absolutely, it does not. It only does to people who have the early car. If you actually look at them, the cleaner look of the early car looks... Because the early car people want the later car, and they convince themselves, if only I had that asymmetrical vent design. The truth is the early car looks better. It's cleaner.
Speaking of rears, I do think the rear of the new X5 is the worst looking part. I think it's a little bit overstyled. And also, there's not the split tailgate. Every X5 up till this one has had a split tailgate. They've said that to reduce complexity and weight, they're removing that. Unfortunately for them, the new X5, the base trim, is 300 pounds heavier than the prior one.
Well, every BMW is getting heavy. Split tailgates are hard to engineer, and there's a real question as to whether people actually care about them.
I will also say, one quick note, the new one you can order with slate in the interior. Maybe that's part of their 300 pounds.
It's hard for me to explain how many times I changed a baby's diaper on the split tailgate of my Land Cruiser. And I don't have that feature anymore in my Sequoia. But I do have a pop-out rear glass. Does the X5?
You know, I have not seen anything about that. I don't believe it does anymore, based on the spoiler design.
No chance it does.
No, and the new 3 Series wagon, which historically has always had it, does not either.
Wow. The world is changing beneath our feet. Nick, are you pretty excited about a brand new X5 in your life here? You're going to be seeing them around your town all the time.
We probably will see that. I mean, it gives me IX vibes. I kind of wonder if I won't notice, but it is bigger, I guess.
It is a little bigger than the prior X5 by 2.2 inches. The iX is about the same size as the new X5.
What's your favorite X5?
The E53 X5, the first X5. I owned a manual one, and it's just, I think, the most beautiful SUV.
I think that the most attractive X5, this is good, and my favorite X5 overall, this is going to blow you away, was the E70 X5M.
Wrong.
In the blue.
Worst one.
In the blue.
Worst X5.
I was going to say the same thing, actually. And I hate to agree with you.
You agree with me or him?
With you, Doug. That X5M, I saw one yesterday, and I was like, oh, that is a good-looking car. Why haven't I owned one?
Overstyled, too sporty looking, and I think the E70 is the worst looking X5.
No. This new one is.
No, this is fine.
The one on the screen.
Anyway, can't wait to drive this thing when it shows up. It's going to be an absolute blast for us all, I have no doubt, especially slate in the interior. Give us our next news story, Nick. What else you got?
E-Shift. So we've talked a lot about the Ioniq 5N and 6N and whatever that have this like fake shifting feel.
Yes. There are
Porsche,
electric cars that can shift gears, which is unusual.
Porsche has now in the new Taycan, also has this functionality. It's supposed to mimic a PDK, and there's a bunch of different.
What do you mean by
modes.
new Taycan? They're not changing the Taycan, right?
It's a facelifted Taycan.
Okay.
For 27, and there's no more Cross Turismo or Sport Turismo Taycan, sadly. But there's a bunch of cool things, right? It's supposed to like mimic different drive modes, and there'll be a different like baseline RPM at idle, and it'll feel a little bit different. First reviews are out. Seems like it sort of works. What's kind of interesting in my mind is they didn't try to mimic an engine sound, right? So like you may have thought, okay, they're going to make this sound like a flat six, or they're going to make this sound like the Carrera GT V10, because they could, right? They're faking the gear shift. They're faking the sound and feel. They could make it sound whatever. No, the sound that comes out associated with each gear is just like an electrical sound based on early reviews.
You know what sound I would like to hear?
Yeah.
I would like to hear 997.1 engine with a failing intermediate shaft bearing. That would be fantastic. And every time you shift, it's like there's like some metal rubbing. That would be fun, don't you think, Filippo?
I love that thought. Yeah.
I mean, there's no reason they couldn't
go to like the sound of bore scoring.
Yeah. This is great, fantastic feature. We reported on this recently. Now we have a picture of a button.
Yep.
And so it's intended to simulate PDK, but it doesn't. It just makes electric car noises. That's
sort
fine.
of. It's supposed to be a noticeable gear shift feel and gear specific drag torque, which is like engine braking, and a virtual rev limiter at like 7,000 something RPM. So not even that high of RPM. And it's available. There's 8 different gears and couple of different modes.
Nick, you gonna want to play around with this?
No, I mean, it's weird because the people who would really care about this, the enthusiasts, we're going to keep buying actual manuals, or not even EVs in general. So like, I don't know exactly who this appeals to. I think it'll be interesting. I want to play with it. I don't want to own one. And I think a lot of people, like, I think it's a cool idea. I think they should do it. I can't imagine this is eventually everyone's going to realize, okay, this is ultimately a gimmick that doesn't improve the performance of the car. It's sort of like going from the IBM ThinkPad to the ThinkPad by Lenovo. It's like a intermediary step to just warm everyone up to the idea of EVs because they realized they couldn't just throw us in.
It's like going from the IBM ThinkPad to the ThinkPad by Lenovo. Nick, what is that shirt that you're wearing today?
WTF is a kilometer. It is going to be the day this comes out, July 3rd. But we celebrate the 4th of July all week in my household. So I'm celebrating today on Wednesday as we're filming. I am leading a kids parade on Saturday, so I will not be at Cars and Coffee, sadly, but I'm pumped.
You're leading a kids parade. Are you going to wear that shirt in the kids parade, Nick?
I think so. I don't think kids know what WTF stands for.
Great. And I'm sure the parents, especially up where you live, the parents will probably be like, yeah, man.
Like, what the Frank, you know?
What's a Celsius?
I agree. I agree.
By the way, you should tell the parents that the X5 is built in South Carolina. They'll like it more.
It's so confusing now. Yeah, a lot of I sort of posted some American truck sentiment the other week on this pod, and people were like, oh, the Tundra is made in America. No, it's not.
Yes, it is. Yes,
What?
it is.
It's a Toyota.
But those trucks are as American as they get. They are designed in America. The components are all built in America. The truck
It's
is
only
built
sold in America.
They're only sold. Yeah, the Sequoia and the Tundra are only sold in America.
Technically in Japan, but who cares?
It doesn't get any more American. They also are exploding all over the place, which is like very Chevy Tahoe of them. Like the powertrains in those Tundras and Sequoias, like at any moment they might blow up.
I'm going to be zipping around in my Ford Focus on the 4th of July and enjoying being in America.
To be fair. What do you think is the most American car, Nick? And I'm not asking for facts because you won't have those. We know that.
Yeah.
I'm asking for like feeling.
Based on vibe, it's got to be the Corvette, right?
Fair.
And I think we do have a new story on the Corvette, but it's big power. There's not a lot of refinement. It is like the most prosperous, like fast, loud, like it just it feels like America.
I was saying GTD because that's built in Canada. So I'm glad you chose the right sports car.
You know what I think the most American car is?
No.
The
All right,
A-Class.
Nick, keep going.
A car we did not get.
A quick message from our partner, Tire Rack. Tire shopping is one of those things most of us don't think about until we have to. And when you do, you want to feel confident you're picking the right set. That's where Tire Rack shines. You punch in your year, make, and model like I do for my cars, and you get every tire that actually fits side by side. And this is the part I really like. You can filter by what matters to you. Wet traction, tread life, comfort, noise, price. And there are real customer reviews, real specs, and Tire Rack's own test results, not some random listicle from 2014. And a few things worth knowing. Every tire purchase comes with 2 years of free road hazard protection. Nails, potholes, rocks, all covered. Shipping is free, and most of the country gets it next day. And you've got options on install. Ship free to a recommended installer, ship free to your house, or in some areas, they'll come to you with mobile installation. It's tire buying done right. Go to TireRack.com to shop tires. Link is pinned in the comments and down in the description.
Think about the last time you called a business and nobody picked up. Or you texted them and got radio silence for 2 days. What do? You went somewhere else. Right. If your team's communication is messy, customers feel it. Missed messages, dropped threads, slow replies. It's one of the easiest ways to lose momentum. That's why today's episode is brought to you by Quo, spelled Q-U-O, the business communication system built so you never miss a call. And I'll tell you why you actually trust this one. We use Quo here at Cars and Bids for our own phone line, so this isn't theoretical. Here's the thing I like most about it. Quo works wherever you are, right from your phone or your computer. You keep your existing number, you can add teammates in like 5 minutes, sync it to your CRM, and the call routing just handles itself as you grow. That last part matters. Nobody wants to rebuild their phone system every time you hire someone. And it's all in one clean view. Calls, texts, voicemails, transcripts, contact details, and more. So whoever picks up the conversation has the full picture. The customer doesn't have to re-explain their whole life story. That's how you actually feel taken care of as a customer versus getting bounced around. More than 90,000 businesses run on Quo. It's the #1 rated business phone system on G2 with over 3,000 reviews, us included. Money is on the line. Always say hello with Quo. Try Quo for free, plus 20% off your first 6 months when you go to quo.com/cars. That's QUO.com/cars.
Let's move
Next
forward.
news story, please.
Let's move forward to Polestar. Speaking of America and cars we did not get.
Polestar's been banned from America for stealing our secrets. If you drive a Polestar, you're stealing from us. Filippo, give us the truth.
All right, they have been banned from America. That part incredibly is true.
Well, no, wait, it's not actually true. The software was banned because you could switch where the software comes from or how the software works or whatever.
Not really. A couple years ago, under the Biden administration, the Commerce Department, there was a new law and rule that basically meant that you can't have software that was developed in China or that had like pieces of that software that was written in China.
Is
Polestar,
that
of course,
just in vehicles, or is that in all sorts
Yes.
of stuff?
Yeah. For our purposes, vehicles, and primarily only vehicles, there's a lot of other products that obviously have software developed in China that are for sale here. The thought was you don't want to allow for code that may be stealing information, maybe using GPS camera information for whatever purpose. There's not really evidence that that's happening, but there's a fear, certainly, that is what is happening. Polestar, of course, is owned by Geely, which is a Chinese company. I'll note Volvo, also owned by Geely. All the automakers could either kind of prove that they didn't have any Chinese software and code in their car stack, or apply for a waiver, explaining how they use the data, explaining the data privacy and security around it, explaining why the Commerce Department shouldn't be concerned. Volvo was granted a waiver. Polestar, which has the same ownership, was not granted a waiver. And so, starting with the 2027 model year, they will not be able to sell any vehicles.
Nick, are you aware of
US.
this? Polestar, noted brand that makes a confusing amount of vehicles that are good lease deals.
The 2, the 3, and the 4.
The 2's gone.
The 3 and the 4.
And the 3 and the 4, and no one knows which is which, and one of them doesn't have a rear window. They're gone, Nick. It's over. What are you going to do?
I'm aware. To be honest, it is the most confusing thing to me is how Volvo got through and Polestar didn't.
Yeah.
Because when you look at the cars, the Polestar looks like a Volvo with just a slightly different logo.
And it's interesting. That was the argument the Commerce Department tried to make. Hey, wait a minute. The Polestar looks like a Volvo. But in the end, they didn't grant the waiver.
Yeah, so the Polestar and some Polestar employees, former employees, because most U.S. employees have or will be laid off, have been a little upset by this, right? Because their brand that they've invested a lot of time in, and there is a lot of American role in that. And by the way, the Polestar 3, which is their small SUV, is built at Volvo's plant in the U.S. And so the car is literally built in the U.S. So there's been a little bit of confusion and frustration from Polestar employees around why were we not granted a waiver when our corporate sibling Volvo was. Volvo's response
is that we will never be able to see what the Polestar 5 could have been.
No, it came out. It is available in Europe. Some journalists have been to press drives for it.
That's the point, though. We'll never be able to see what it could have been. It could have turned the fortunes around for this entire generic brand.
Yeah. It could have. So Polestar, no more. I think the big story here is obviously the Commerce Department flexing some muscle and being able to just make it so that entire automaker cannot sell cars here, and not necessarily through super clear reasons, right? Volvo's argument for why they were successful is these are all on a case-by-case basis. We were able to demonstrate to the Commerce Department that data is not at risk, and so they issued us a waiver. I don't know if they took different approaches than Polestar. I don't know if the Commerce Department is being less than consistent. We'll probably never really know for sure.
I'm gonna make two predictions here. Number one, Polestar will be granted a waiver eventually. Number two,
I don't think they're going to try anymore.
TikTok is stealing from us.
No, Oracle owns all their data and pretty majority of it.
We don't know that. Senator, I'm Singaporean.
Excellent callback to TikTok CEO explaining to some U.S. senators that Singapore is not part of China. By the way, Polestar is press releases around this. We're really focused on. We're frustrated by this, but our core market is actually Europe. Europe was 80% of their global sales last year, and so they're going to kind of keep their focus there. They have said, and they've made clear, or as clear as you to the extent that you believe them, that they will keep servicing vehicles in the U.S. They'll keep their service departments open, and they will still sell their remaining U.S. inventory, which, based on the number of Polestars that I see, I imagine is sizable.
The Polestar 5 looks like a Panamera, a Audi A7 situation. Nick, we're not going to get this beautiful car.
What a shame. You know, Filippo, you've done the reading, so you can fact check me here. But my initial reaction to this was Elon Musk was heavy into the government early on. They've kind of they're a car company that's sort of disinterested in making cars anymore. And they built their company mostly based on exploiting regulatory loopholes and government subsidies. Did Elon Musk cash in some favors and say, ban my competition so that I can sell more Model Ys?
I love the just full-on conspiracy theory at Elon's expense here.
It's total tinfoil hat based on no facts.
There's a lot to say about it.
Doug, our best bet is to just not respond.
First off, you agree, Filippo, the weirdest part was when he called him Elon Musk several times. Okay.
Yeah.
Second weirdest part is the idea that Polestar at any point ever was a real competitor for Tesla. Nick, that would be like you trying to, when you're leading that parade, trying to ban a worm from also being on the street.
Well, not really.
Polestar delivered.
You got to start somewhere. It's like a lion. You pick off the weakest of the pack. So Polestar was the low-hanging fruit. Then you could say, oh, well, maybe we should also ban Lucid because there's some shady stuff going in the Middle East. You
know what I think they should try to ban is the very best electric car of all, the Mach-E Rally. Now, Nick Stafford, who's one of our producer folks here, he does all the editing. He saw one this week, and he sent me a picture of it. And he said, I saw one of these. And I said, I've seen one of those, but just one. Filippo, you ever think about the Mach-E Rally?
Always. Oh. I've seen one. Literally one also.
Car can go rallying like a Stratos.
This isn't one of the stories we have, but I'll mention it. California just rolled out a new incentive for EV sales. $3,500 for a new EV that's below $50,000. The $50,000 cap, fun fact, does not apply if the manufacturer is headquartered in the state of California. Tesla had been headquartered in the state of California, but no longer is. So
it only applies to Lucid and then sub 50K
EVs? To like a bunch of like Hyundai, Kia, I think would count as having headquarters there, but they don't sell very many 50K plus EVs.
Headquarters, Nick, tell them where Hyundai Kia's headquarters actually is, buddy. Hit him up. Say it right now.
Orange County?
No. So he thinks Toyota is headquartered in Japan, but Hyundai Kia is headquartered in Orange County.
Well, don't you have a rule you don't go north of the Hyundai building?
Yeah, but if you're going to say Toyota's Japanese, you got to say Hyundai Kia is Korean, for Christ's sake.
I mean, their vibe is they're not American brands, but where they physically have an office is different.
By the way, the other Polestar model, the Polestar 4, built in South Korea.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
The Polestar 4 has a K VIN?
No. I can't speak to the VIN, but it is built in South Korea.
Nah. Any cars built in North Korea, Filippo?
Not that are for sale outside of North Korea.
Give us the next news story. Oh, all right. What is this?
Vehicle is the new Hyundai Elantra.
What?
That's a fun fact for you.
That's the new Elantra?
Yeah, it looks wild. It's incredibly futuristic looking. It has these huge rear fenders, really cool light treatment. So in South Korea, speaking of Hyundai in South Korea, it's called the Avante, is what the Elantra is called. And the Avante next generation has been revealed, picture of which is there. The rest of the car looks equally kind of wild. And it will be coming here as the next Elantra. We expect to see it in 2027.
Wow, it doesn't
same
look bad.
powertrains, etc. as before. Technically a different hybrid engine, but who really cares? But it looks really quite cool and like a huge screen, as you'd expect. So new interior and that.
Nick, are you looking at this thing? Have you seen this thing?
I am. I'm with you. It kind of gives me Urus vibes in a couple places, but it is bold, futuristic, kind of cool.
Yeah.
You know what
really
the problem is going to be? This is one thing I don't like about the Hyundai sedans, is that they show up with these pictures, and then when you see them on the road, they have 13-inch hubcaps, and instead of LED lights, they have like halogens in every orifice, and it looks like they're on a fast track to the airport rental lots, and then to the seedier parts of town. You know, like the Kia K4.
Oh,
Am I wrong?
yes. They're not
You
just
really
driving around
think
the cedar parts of town. In
You
towns
like
where
the
there's a lot of
K4?
rental car fleets, they're driving around everywhere. I do like the K4 looks fine. The Elantra looks fine. This
The
Elantra
K4
looks very
looks good in
futuristic.
nice trims. The weaker K4s are weak.
I love base trim vehicles, and so I'm here for it.
Yeah, like the Enzo.
Like the base Enzo, yes.
No radio. I mean, you must like that.
Yeah, right. I do. It's a cool design. Obviously Hyundai has been known, and Kia have been known for pushing the boundaries of design and pushing their design language forward in a meaningful way, generation after generation after generation. This is just the next iteration of that. And by the way, there is a small window in the C pillar between the B and C pillar, the C and D pillar. Excuse me.
Is it a hatchback then?
I believe it's a sedan, but it looks a little hatchbacky to me.
Hey, Filippo, if you could daily an Enzo, an MC12, or one of those little Mario Karts that they ride around, like tour groups ride around in Japan, and you have to dress up as Bowser every time, what would you daily?
I prefer the MC12, but I'd be worried about the extra length relative to an Enzo.
You prefer the MC12 because it's open roof?
Isn't it longer?
Oh, yeah, it's considerably longer and wider, but what's the reason for your preference?
Oh, I think the MC12 looks the best out of them.
Including the Mario Kart?
Yeah, but certainly including the Mario Kart.
So you're not going to go with the Mario Kart?
No, MC12.
Huh. Nick?
MC12 as well. Easy choice.
All right, new Elantra. Can't wait. There's going to be an N version, by the way, and it's going to have a manual transmission.
Maybe.
What's that?
Maybe.
No, yeah, maybe. No, it will. And it's going to be fast, and it's going to be exciting, and Nick and I are really pumped for it. And it'll be a turbo 4-cylinder, and this may not be so bad. Small cars, I think, in order to sell in this market, need to be more than just a car. They need to have a little bit more excitement to them, and I think Hyundai has realized that in Kia. And I'm excited to see this thing around. What a big week of news.
Totally agree.
You got
I wish
anything
I saw
else?
more
by the way,
Ionic
it's
5s
worth-
around. Those are still my
It's worth
favorite.
noting, the Toyota Corolla still sells in hundreds of thousands every year and doesn't have anything.
No, it has a hybrid version, which it didn't used to, and it gets exceptional
does.
fuel economy. I mean, yeah, it's a little dull, and the current Civic is maybe a little dull too,
Oh, such a good car, though.
but also offered with a hybrid.
And they can get away with that in a way that no other brand can, because Toyota,
Yeah, sure.
Honda are the safe choice. So you got to kind of take risks if you're not the market leader. So I
Right.
think
It's like the full-size luxury sedans have now been whittled down to Mercedes-Benz and BMW, and everyone else is gone.
Cars and Beds and Steck are officially partners, and honestly, this is one I'm excited to talk about. I have Steck on my Mercedes McLaren SLR, and just the other day, I door dinged myself using my convertible Range Rover, and sure enough, it put a hole in the PPF. Thankfully, my friends at Steck and the installer nearby me, Elite Finish, were able to replace the film, and it was like nothing ever happened underneath. So my carbon fiber bodied car, where I could not replace the panel, came away completely unscathed after just ripping off a piece of PPF and putting a new one on. Steck is the world leader in PPF technology, and their whole focus is on preserving the long-term value and look of your car, which, if you're listening to this podcast, is probably something you care a little bit about. Doug also recently upgraded his Carrera GT with Steck, replacing an inferior PPF, also done at Elite Finish here in San Diego. When Doug's putting it on the CGT and I'm putting it on my SLR, that's everything you need to know about the tier we're talking about. What sets it apart is their Dyno Shield technology. Extreme clarity, hydrophobic so your car stays cleaner longer, and the film actually self-heals from light scratches and swirl marks using a heat from the sun or your garage. They also do fashion films such as full color changes, carbon fiber looks, unique finishes, you name it, all while giving you complete paint protection. So it's not just clear film. You can transform the car and protect it at the same time. Now here's the good part for you guys. 2 deals. First, submit a car to Cars and Bids with proof of a certified Steck installation, and we'll give you 50% off professional auction photos. Just send the invoice in with your photos. Second, Steck is giving our community 10% off a film install with any authorized retailer. Head to steck-usa.com/carsandbids to find a shop near you and use code CNBSTEK10. That's C&B Steck 10 when you connect with them. That's STEK-USA.com/carsandbids, code CNB STEK 10.
except for Porsche. Okay, give us our next new. Ooh, what is this?
All
What's
right,
happening here?
That's the Corvette. It's been facelifted a little bit. We've talked about this before. There is a new engine in the Corvette, and so now the base Corvette has increased in price to 77-ish K or so, but the base Corvette now hits 200 miles an hour.
Nick, you hear that?
Previously did not.
For
Filippo,
77
I'm being
Gs.
told it's actually still 73 on the base.
Sorry, 73.5 is your correct.
73.5. Yeah, that's
73.5.
wild though. 200 miles an hour for 73K.
I was looking at this. What do you
74.
think the second cheapest car to hit 200 miles per hour is that's for sale right now?
That's a good question.
Gotta be double.
I mean, I know the answer, but like, I'm curious.
Lincoln Navigator.
No, good guess though. Nick, you got a guess?
Filippo in a Mario Kart dressed as Bowser.
What
is
you got a
it?
guess? Nick?
I mean, 911.
An Italian car of sorts.
A 911 Turbo does hit 200 mile an hour. I think it's the only 911 variant to hit that. A Panamera
Yeah.
Turbo S also hits it, but
Yeah.
a Cadillac CT5V Blackwing hits 200 miles an hour, and around 140K sticker is the second cheapest. So we
How
cut
often-
the price of entry 50%
How often do you think about buying a CT5V Blackwing?
often.
Nick, how about you?
Same, although I know Kenan really wants one too, so I got to let you all have that one.
You think Kenan staked a claim to that?
Yeah.
Kind of like the Viper. I want a Viper too, but Kenan staked a claim. I'm going to just let him have that.
Kenan's been on a Viper for 2 years. I think if you want it, you can probably pop on in. I think you could pop on in while he's still considering it and still pop out and have him still be considering it. I think you'd be fine.
Yeah. By the way, for $200,000 less than a 992 Turbo S, which also hits 200 mile per hour speed, you can have 200 miles per hour in a Corvette. It's quite incredible. So yes, a little bit of a price increase compared to last year when the MSRP was in the high 60s. But 200 miles per hour is now a thing in base Corvettes.
The
Fun
Corvette
fact: the Z51 doesn't hit 200. It has too much aero, and so it's a little bit slower. But the base Corvette, 200 miles per hour.
You need the slippery one. The Corvette has always been the value play in this segment.
It's like, what was the first car that you remember hitting 200 miles? Like in your mind, it's like, wow, here's a car hitting 200 miles.
When I was a kid, it was all supercars. But didn't the Nissan GTR do 200 also?
At the moment, the current list is the CT4, the CT5V Blackwing, excuse me, the 911 Turbo S, and then everything else is in the supercar family except for the Lucid Air Sapphire.
My
Back in
SLR,
the
that
day-
was kind of the SLR's claim to fame was that it would easily do 200 miles an hour, but that again was for like Holy Trinity level super and hyper cars, not like
Back
a
in the
73
day,
grand base
the
model.
Nissan GTR would hit certain versions of the Nissan GTR would hit 200, and I have a feeling it wasn't dramatically more expensive than the Corvette. I mean, you're talking about like Nismo versions. Maybe they were a little like low 100s or maybe 120 or something, but the GTR was doing it too. But it also always had the reputation of being like the value performance car.
Yep. At this moment, it's by far the cheapest. Quite impressive feat, and also insane how much speed has been democratized.
Are you now? Is there anywhere you can go 200 miles an hour?
This Bonneville Salt Flats.
Yes. You could not do it on public road, Nick. Do you understand that?
I know. I've never gone 200. I really want to, but finding a place where you could do that safely, not even legally, right? Like we can put that one aside and just assume there are ways around it, but safely is, like you would need like an airstrip or something like that. I think that Texas does like those half-mile or mile-long drag strips. That would be interesting.
I don't know how long it takes to get to 200, by the way. I don't think that's been.
I remember Stradman tried it a bunch with his Veyron, and like even doing it in ideal conditions was not easy. Like there's too much headwind and blah, blah, blah. And like it takes a lot of space. It's not easy.
I own a car that was the fastest car in the world.
Briefly.
Did you know that, Nick?
It's actually right behind
Congrats.
Nick.
Yeah. We're very
watching
happy for
right
you.
now. But yes, new Corvette pricing is out, 73.5 for the base model. Gets you 200 miles per hour. A little crazy.
Imagine doing top speed in that Countach.
You need a lot of space for that.
What was top speed?
Like 183 or something like that. It was fast. It was fast. But you couldn't do it. We couldn't go that fast because you were scared.
Right.
It was the fastest car in the world until the 288 GTO came and unseated it. And after that, there becomes a lot of dispute as to what the fastest car in the world was. Because people think it was like these roofs. But to me, that's like a modded 911.
Right.
I have to imagine
You know?
with the Countach at top speed, you'd be worried about the self-tapping screws holding the wing in from giving out.
I don't think you could do that speed with the wing. I think you had to do it winglessly.
I guess, yeah, all you would need is a Phillips. You could
You
remove
get
that.
Harry Metcalf to come and remove your wing, and you're good.
That's all you gotta do. All right, what's next, Nick?
Last but not least, so Ian Callum, a famous British designer, one of my favorite designers really of all time, did all the greats. He reimagined the XJ220. Now, this is just a design study. It's not a real car, etc. But I called this out because I just think it's an interesting what if, right? It's honestly, I don't think the side profile is the best view, but like it's a pretty gorgeous car. And you got to wonder, Jaguar, when they decided to reboot the brand, they could have gone any number of directions. This would have been an interesting one to me, which is kind of what Aston's doing of the ultra high-end limited production halo cars like the Valkyrie and the all of those cars. If Jaguar had done that, this is maybe what that would have looked like, and I think it's pretty cool.
You know what Ian Callum designed? Escort Cosworth.
Not his most well-known design, but sure.
That's a great car. That thing does look cool, Nick. Is Ian Callum out of work now? Is that the situation?
He has his own design studio, and you have to wonder also, which may be teasing a future update, but instead of hiring Apple designers for your cars, maybe Ian Callum's design studio would be a good place to give a call. And maybe that's why he did this, is just to get his name out there saying, hey, I'm designing cars. No one asked me to do this one, but doesn't it look nice? And hey, if you are in the market for a new designer, holler.
Yeah, that Luce, boy, it really hasn't grown on me. In fact, it's grown worse. I saw that
Speaking
email
of the next
exchange.
news. Yeah.
That Instagram email exchange between Ferrari and that guy where they were trying to sell the car, and it was actually his response was how we all feel, and it wasn't that interesting. But I think that an interesting part was it was enlightening to see how they were trying to sell a select group of people. It's funny, Ferrari has announced that it's sold out in China, but did you do this, Filippo? Did you look closely at this news story? Do you know what it means?
Nick
I
did.
did.
I don't watch TV news.
Sold out in China. It was 88 units for $1 billion.
I do think China.
Not only that, but when someone fact checked it, the dealers all replied, "We're still accepting orders. We have not sold out." So they've sort of had 88 people, much like any new EV comes out and people pre-order them. Like that doesn't really. I mean, there was a deposit. It is allegedly non-refundable. I'm sure 88 people could say, "Fine." I mean, China's a huge country, but
they will sell 88. They'll sell more
They
than
sell
88.
88 in a country of 1 billion people. So in the United States, that would be the equivalent of them selling like 19 cars or 22 cars.
They'll sell some, obviously. It's still a Ferrari model. It's a interesting EV.
They will sell people who want to play the allocation game.
Which they've claimed they are not doing. Ferrari PR has been very adamant that they are not. We obviously all know that they are doing this.
Yeah.
But they've been adamant that they are not requiring the purchase to then buy any other cars. Which, by the way, I think Ferrari PR would say about every Ferrari. That's all like a dealership game.
The hard part of that is,
OE.
like, at this point, you actually have to really run the numbers. Like, if you're doing this just to get an SP4, like, you're going to lose $500,000 on this car. And so, like, are you going to make
$500,000 on an SF90?
Yeah.
That's another.
Well, that's true. But are you going to make $500,000 on an SP4? Maybe. The SP3's made a ton, but like you got to be. It's a dice roll. And with Luce, it's not like that's the only one you're getting. Yeah, you also had to buy an SF90, which you also lost $500,000. So you're dropping like millions of dollars to try to make millions of dollars, or you could just toss it all in Bitcoin. Am I right, Nick?
Yeah. Or, I mean, and at least with the SF90. It's an enjoyable driving experience. Like this, no one's driven it, or very few people have driven
It'll
it.
Be good.
Who knows? But it can't be that great. I mean, it got to drive like most other EVs with some improvements. So, whereas as the SF90, like we badmouth that a lot on this pod, but like it's still a really fun car. Like the problem was more the price point and some of the other things, and the F8 and 296 sort of being too close of competitors internally. But the Luce doesn't have any of the like. If I were going to lose $500,000, I'd rather lose it on a sports car.
Here's
what
a
if
question.
you want a 5-seat Ferrari? Does he only shop?
Nick, Nick, here's a real question for you, legitimate question. Would you rather have a Revuelto or a Revuelto and a Luce?
I mean, you almost got to wonder at this point that the Luce becomes rare. It's like a La Forza. Like, so few people buy it that it becomes this like weird, quirky artifact where like everyone's like, remember when Ferrari made this massive public mistake? And like it just sort of becomes like this fun and like odd conversation starter.
Yeah. I think they will sell them though, because I think that they will have people who want the allocation thing. If Ferrari called me and said, "Hey, you get a Luce. If you buy a Luce, you'll get an SP3," I would do it. And that's how they're going to sell them. It's the only way they can sell them. 100%. It's the only way they're going to be able to sell them.
I've never understood why not just charge more for an SP3. Like, instead of making people waste their money, just spend an extra $600K to buy the SP3.
No, it benefits them in two ways. Number one, they sell the lesser cars, so that gets. But
don't even bother with the lesser cars. Save all the R&D money and just charge more for the Halo car.
But it also benefits them because they get to prove the brand mystique. There's this proof, like, oh, if you buy a Ferrari, you're going to make $1 million. And so not only do they sell the cheaper cars, but they also continue to tout the success of the brand by limiting the production of the Halo cars, and then they go up in value, and people are still talking about how Ferraris are great investments. It's honestly a great strategy until it isn't. And this heinous thing, this trash heap that they're going to try to foist on people is when the party stops.
They just took it too far. Of like, hey, we're building kind of throwaway car, or not throwaway cars, but we're building cars.
No, it's a throwaway car.
This one is. So yeah, I don't know. I think it'd be cool if Ferrari developed their own cars and bids and just said, for all the special ones, we're going to make you bid against each other. Let the market decide what it's worth, and we're not going to make you buy all these cars you don't want. Just like give us $20 million for this car.
If they did that, a lot of the sales for the cheap stuff would dry up. And no one would feel like they're in this like special world where Ferrari chose me, and then I gained value, and this is amazing that I'm part of this.
Well, it would be a sealed private auction that you only invite certain people to, and I think killing off the sort of entry level, the Californias and the Portofinos. I don't know, maybe it would be like what Aston's doing. Like, you'd only have the really special cars.
Yeah, but those cars still make money. There's a lot of people who buy those cars and then don't buy the SP3, so it's nice to have those in the lineup. Yeah, but then it's also nice to foist the SP3 buyers, those cars on the SP3 buyers. Filippo, Revuelto, or Revuelto and Luce?
Oh, I'll take just the Luce, I'll be honest. Good without a Revuelto. I don't want a Luce for $650, but I kind of want it otherwise.
Yeah,
I will say... Just a couple of responses. Ferrari, you do not need to build your own auction site. Come to us. We're here.
You can white label it.
We'll help. We saw a lot of other Ferraris, including Scuderia, just a couple weeks ago. Secondly, I've heard from some rumors that Luces are hitting press fleets. And so, Doug, I'm sure that you're at the top of their list to get a drive and really see what it's all about.
It is. It will actually be interesting how they figure out how to drop this in the press fleets, because everybody's going to badmouth it, and the ones who don't badmouth it are just liars. And I can name some of those people, but I'm not going to. I know exactly who's going to say nice things. But that's fine. They can do that, and they can participate in the whole charade, and I'm okay with that.
And the initial press junket, remember, not only did they tightly control what you said, they watched you, they only let you film on their cameras. Like, they were really, really careful about it. And my second conspiracy theory for today, the Ferrari CMO has stepped down. Now the public relations team makes it sound like it was his choice. Who knows? Often when executives step down to spend time with their family, it isn't always that direction that they say publicly. However, if I were them and I were seeing the comments on my Instagram right now, if you go to Ferrari's Instagram page, open up any post about the Luce, and for whatever reason, they insist on posting about it almost daily. And it is just the biggest dumpster fire of mean comments you've ever seen.
Nick, you do not understand the level of arrogance that this brand has. And honestly, it's
hard to understand.
Well-founded, because this has happened many times. People said this about the California. People said this about going hybrid. People said this about the SUV, and many other cars throughout my lifetime have been touted as sort of they're ruining Ferrari. They're doing this, that, automatic transmissions. Although that was a hit success actually, but even initially. But the point is, This is the brand has this incredible level of arrogance that's like, you think we can't make X number of cars in a year? We're going to do it and still succeed. You think we can't do shoes? We're going to do it and still succeed, et cetera, et cetera. And they believe that they're on the right course. The CMO stepping down, I think, is an example of someone who's saying we need to change tactic.
But their spin on this, and you could either believe Ferrari in this or you can say that they're spinning it, is that Enrico Galliera, who was formerly the marketing chief, had said earlier this year that he was going to step down. They asked him to stay through the launch of this vehicle, which is their most important vehicle launch in forever. And like there was a pre-agreed to. I will say they did have somebody lined up in Massimiliano Di Silvestre, who was formerly at BMW of Italy's, like the head of BMW in Italy. They did have somebody lined up to take that job, which gives it some credence that indeed it was a planned out.
I'll give you some credence. The Luce is trash. Marketing it will be hell. This is the worst thing that's ever happened. Give us our next news story.
Possible that the former marketing person knew how bad it would be, for sure.
We got an Urus. Filippo, say Urus like you would say it.
Urus.
Oh, wow, because it's not an Italian word. This
isn't just an Urus. This is the new 2027 Urus SE Performante. And you might ask, didn't they already make a Performante Urus? Yes, this is the SE Performante.
They also made an SE, so now they're combining it all.
Well, yes, the SE was the base one post facelift.
Yes, we all know. So what's this, Nick? Is it more powerful?
One could argue it's the best, most powerful Urus ever made. One could argue it's a 20 horsepower bump and a body kit.
It's an 11 horsepower bump. It's not even 20. 11. It's 11 horsepower increase. 11.
If you want the latest, greatest Urus, and you have an early one and you want to upgrade, this is the top dog. It does look kind of cool. They made a couple small enhancements, but ultimately it's a trim level. It reminds me so much of the Gallardo, where they started doing the Gallardo SE, the narrow edition, blah, blah,
Nick,
blah.
What a shame that we don't have an off-road. What a shame we don't have an off-road version of the Urus. Still.
I agree. There's a lot of ways they could have spiced it up other than like probably the most iterative minor bump in trim level imaginable, but it's something. It's better than going Luce or any number of other directions. So like on the scale of like brilliant to stupid, it's fairly benign. It's a natural progression. I would have loved more. I would have loved more over the top, like go with just a little bit more extreme, but it's out there. You can go buy it, and the Lambo product strategy is just playing it safe.
Yep. And you know what? I bet they're pretty damn thrilled right now that they didn't go EV. Right. And I'd take an Urus SE Performante over whatever the hell
the Lambo CMO is not planning on stepping down to spend more time with his family anytime soon, because marketing this won't be that hard. If you like the Urus, here is 11% more.
11. Well, it's just 11.
It'd be 11 horsepower more.
11,
but yeah, you get
more, which is.
It's like 1% more.
Surely there's no more news stories, please. Please.
That'll do. Is it?
We got to move on to the Talk Cars segment. There's a lot to discuss, the Talk Cars segment. There's a lot to discuss. And I want to start with, Filippo wants to talk about the event. Cars and Bids had an event recently. And boy, was it an event. Filippo, tell us everything.
It was great. This past Saturday, we were at the Larz Andersron Museum in Brookline, right outside of Boston, Massachusetts. We had 400-something cars, a couple thousand people that came to like a Cars and Coffee on Saturday morning. The Larz Andersron Museum, really beautiful. It's like a great park and an incredible museum that was started by a very historic family. You should Google their Wikipedia when you get a chance, especially Larz Anderson's. It's quite something. But a really, really cool museum. They have a Countach or two, a Carrera GT, a couple of Ford GTs, a bunch of really great cars, and a lot of antique cars in the basement that's open. And the event was incredible. It was like a lot of really, really cool cars. I got to talk to a lot of folks, so thank you if you came up to talk to me or to producer Sean at the event. It was really, really awesome to chat and get to meet so many of you. We're doing more and more events constantly because it's so fun to hang out with people, and so please do come if there's one area.
Filippo, tell us what your favorite 400 cars there at the Cars and Bids Cars and Coffee at the Larz Andersron. Tell us what your favorite 3 cars were.
All right, I didn't get a chance to see as many cars as I wanted. For example, there was a Saab 9.5 wagon with a stick that was in the lower lot that I didn't get to go to. But there was a Spiker C8. Love a Spiker C8.
Ooh.
There was a BMW Z1. Also love that. And there was a 430 Scuderia with a car seat in it. The dude, the kid wears headphones, but brings his son along in this car, which is just really quite cool. We talked to him for a video that's going to be out on the Cars and Bits channel next week.
Did anybody show up in a Vauxhall VX220?
Sadly, no. Also, we were down at Vauxhall.
Not this side of the pond, baby girl.
Regardless, no, sadly. But there truly were a lot of absolutely incredible cars there.
Did anybody show up in an E31?
In an E30 wagon?
E31.
In a BMW 8 Series, yes.
8 Series. How did you Googled that?
No, but I thought my joke was good. So I went with it, and then went with the real answer.
Let me tell you something. Me and Kenan come from a time when they didn't give different E numbers to different body styles.
But none of our fans do, because they have been doing that since the E90.
Yeah, they do it since E90, but pre that, it's E46. Every E46 is an E46.
I'm aware it was an 8 Series, and there was a really nice 8 Series there, yes.
Do you ever wonder what the E47 was that didn't make it?
No, but don't you wonder in that same vein what the next 911 will be called?
994.
What about 993?
It already happened. It's 994. This isn't discussable. It's true. This would be like me saying there's an elephant behind me. It's
and then a 995, and then a 998?
Yep.
You just skip the prior ones?
Yes.
Nah,
that is.
I'm not supportive of this.
Well, I don't care if you're supportive or not. It's all stupid anyway. The whole thing is stupid. The whole brand is off the rails. Making these big electric
What do you do
things.
after 999?
Well, Nick, that's like
Is it gonna be the
25 years
1000?
from now. It's going to be the next CMO's problem, and he's probably going to be this fellow that they pushed out at Ferrari.
Yeah. They'll recharge his
no,
batteries by then.
By the time 999 happens, there won't be Porsche anymore. We're gonna be flying cars and futuristic cities with tubes that go everywhere.
Those exist. They're called subways.
Have you thought about a Vauxhall VX220 for yourself, Filippo?
Yeah. Thanks for asking.
They're cool as hell. Nick, you know this car?
Nope.
Can he pull up stuff or not?
Yeah.
I will try.
This car is so cool.
Thanks for
That
shooting
looks
a
like
photo
a Sean
with
car.
I know, he's blocking like most of what makes
Most
the car
of the
look
car.
good. It's also heavily modified. This is a Nick special. Filippo went to the car show, and it was a fantastic
great.
experience. Nick, how come you weren't there at the event?
I am not invited to the events. I don't know if that is
We can't
intentional.
edit Nick live. Right? Like when Nick is in content or on the podcast, we can edit what he says.
Right.
Live? That's questionable.
Yeah, that's a good point. So that's why Nick doesn't come. Now, after this event, I want to tell everybody, after this event, Filippo and several other members of our team, they're not our employees, they're team members, they went to some sort of team gathering in the woods. That
happened before, and it was delightful.
Oh, it happened before. And they all, dug holes and such.
Well, it's a little known fact, but we actually do put a lot of work into running Cars and Bids and the YouTube channels that we have as a business, and so sometimes it's nice to have a little bit of business focus time.
Oh, what did you focus on? What are some Cars and Bids? What do we got coming on Cars and
People
Bids?
get to wait and see, which is
You're not going to tell
delightful.
us future information, Nick? Aren't you dying to know?
I'm going to say you're going to start selling watches.
No, we're good. I'm thank you for throwing that out there. No. We're quite
Jet
focused on
skis.
being car enthusiasts of cars. Can I
Filippo,
talk about something different?
Yeah, but before we talk about something different, I want to talk about Nick has a couple of big things to talk about.
Wait, I do too. It's fine.
One of
Keep
which
going.
is last week he was here and he told us, or 2 weeks ago, he told us he was going to buy an Audi TTRS that was listed on the site. Nick, I assume you weren't all talk and you actually followed through with that. Tell us how it went.
We don't have a TTRS. No, my friend Ted was looking at buying one. The bidding was, to Cars and Bids' credit, strong. Frankly, the number we kind of decided up front that we were willing to pay up to, it exceeded. The new owner, I'm told the sale went through. I talked to the seller as well. He seems to be happy with it. So that's off to another home. My friend Ted did buy a different TTRS. He bought a Heritage Edition. It's like dark red with this cool peanut butter interior. So I'm still hoping to get together with Ted and check it out, drive it, and see what a DSG TTRS is like. But we did not end up with the one on the site.
Don't you think that'll be probably better for you given your...
Yeah, you can money shift it.
Filippo, a couple things. First off, a Heritage Edition TTRS, Filippo, has gold wheels and it's a 2-row. Thank you. Thank
See where
you.
it's going.
Nick-
Finish the joke for everybody else, please.
Nick, question for you though. It sold for 53,000 United States. What was your number? Was it 36?
It was higher than that, but the hope was to get it for a good deal because for my friend who lives in Chicago, you'd have to ship it, and then he wanted a stock one. So the idea was, you take off them. He wasn't willing to pay a premium for the mods. He was hoping I would remove the mods, and then there was a lot of extra work involved. So it didn't make sense.
What happened while I was gone? Was this podcast just this?
This was one of the topics, and it was so clear even then that it wasn't going to happen. But I let Nick go on about it because I snuck in an enormous amount of money shifted at TTRS jokes. Nick, speaking of mods, I hear that you've made a big change. I hear that you're a full-fledged Californian.
I have 9 Z plates. So for those who follow California, it's like an alphabetical sequence. So it's a 2006 that looks like it was bought yesterday. And then the Range Rover has 9X or Y, I can't remember. But the license plate sequences in my driveway look like I've,
Nick,
I don't know, stumbled upon money very recently.
You can't have a driveway with a 9X and a 9Z and a 9Y. And
I know,
Nick,
I gotta figure that out pretty soon here.
Nick, it is interesting because usually in my experience what you do is you buy a kind of a rough example of a car that does not pass smog, you work on it until it does, then you title in California. The fact that you've got all these cars titled in California suggests to me that you've had a bunch of cars for a while. Are you planning to make a move here? We're all ready
and that is the real epiphany. So I was in Wyoming for a week. I drove my dad's F-250 around. I passed 100,000 miles in Yellowstone Park.
F-250, man, you and I.
Yeah, I enjoyed that. But then he has a 67 Mustang, and I drove that, and I loved it. And then I got home, and my driveway has 3 SUVs across it. Inside the garage is a wagon, then a sports car, and then parked offsite is another hatchback. And so I have 6 cars, 5 of which are family cars that have 4 doors. And it's like, why? I want to involve my family in the car hobby. I want my kids to be involved. So I understand why I kept adding family-friendly fun cars. But now I'm in a point where I have 5 out of my 6 cars are basically family cars. Like, what am I doing? So
you did this to yourself. Everyone told you not to buy a P38. That was insane.
Yeah.
No one asked you to do that.
I didn't buy it. It was free. It was gifted.
To his defense.
Well, yeah, but you're in it now for more than it would have cost you.
Right.
We all did ask him to buy that convertible Range Rover. We're all supportive of that one.
If it was me and I was Nick,
That's
I would
the keeper.
have a convertible Range Rover and some sort of manual sports car. That's what I would have.
I definitely want to reduce the number of cars because 6 is just a lot to maintain and drive around. And then I want to add another sports car. So whether that is the 67 Mustang, which my dad effectively told me, you can borrow it for a while if you want to drive it and get it serviced up, or I find another old vintage car. But I want more experiences, and I don't need, when I'm taking my kids somewhere, to be which of the 5 cars with car seats do you want to take? I can really narrow that down. So I think we're going to get rid of the Cayenne. We're going to get rid of the Focus. I'll probably get rid of the P38. We'll keep the Range Rover convertible. I'm going to keep the E55 for a while longer, but I'm on the fence a little bit about that, only because, again, I don't need so many family cars. But the other thing I realized with the P38 is I'm a poser. I have it's off-road. I was I need an off-road vehicle. I've never gone off-roading in it. I've tried once or twice, and I've never, it's like having a track car and never going to the track.
We all agree that is how I would describe you two, yeah.
Yeah, the E55, I power slid onto the on-ramp yesterday. At the very least, if I have the kids, I can enjoy that and kind of drive it to its limits versus an off-road vehicle. It's not like I'm going to off-road just randomly on the way to
Nick,
a client dinner.
Can I make a dead serious suggestion to you that I want you to think about legitimately? And
Urus SE Performante?
And talk about with Filippo and talk about with the others. You want to be at Quail. You want to have a really important special car. You want a vintage. You got some cash there in these cars. If you sold all your cars short of that convertible Range Rover, you could buy a Ferrari Daytona.
Oh, interesting.
It's like a better looking SLR.
I don't know if that's true, first of all.
It is.
And you don't have to worry about changing an airbag with the battery still attached, and therefore
it's a better looking SLR. It gives you the vintage vibes of the Mustang, and it would get rid of all of your bizarre menagerie of cars that are weird, and you have a Ferrari Daytona.
I had not considered that path. I'm not sure I will consider that, but it's interesting. Funny enough, in the market report, which we'll talk about next, that Diablo on the site was another like a moment where I'm like, oh, that is the perfect car for me. $125,000 of service at George Evans, has the 6.0 and GT bodywork. Like, there's so many cool cars out there that, again, should I consolidate and not have 6 cool cars, but not like amazing cars, and have fewer cars, but more special ones and more sports car oriented experiences. So I'm going through a lot of thoughts. There may be the Nick Rochon collection coming to Cars and Bid soon, and I sell them all at the same time.
Wow. Well,
I'm supportive.
I find that all to be very interesting, though I strongly believe you should consider a Daytona. Let's move on to the market report because we got to do questions. The market report, of course, is brought to you by Filippo. Filippo, he's in a large room with a lot of drywall and nothing on the walls. Filippo, I'll give you one because we got to move on to questions. I'll give you one. What do you want?
Earlier this week, we sold a Ferrari 330 P4 Recreation by Norbert Autocraft.
Yes.
This is a replica. And like I think for a long time when I've thought replica, I have thought Countach built on a Pontiac Fiero.
Yes.
Or F50 built on a Pontiac Fiero.
Yes.
Or Diablo built on a Pontiac Fiero.
One, but yes.
Yeah, you get the point. They're not all that. We sold this Ferrari 330 P4 for $600,000. So it was like incredible last hour of bidding because it's incredibly desirable. Now, like Norwood Autocraft does real work on Ferraris. They're the shop you'd want to buy a recreation from. They do really, really solid work. It has a 5.5 liter V12 from a Ferrari, from 456 into this case. It's got a G50 5-speed manual. It's cool and like it's real components. But $600,000 for a replica is not what you first think of, but maybe it should be.
I would
there's some
say
really high class
interesting.
ones.
Like this replica Ferrari market has become interesting because the real P4, there's like 2 P4s and they're $20 zillion and they haven't come up for sale for 25 years. So you can't get one, right? Even no matter how rich you are, you can't really get one. And this is happening. Like there's other companies who do this too. Norwood is famous for it, but there's other companies that do it too that make incredibly high quality replicas, basically indistinguishable from actual Ferraris. In this case, powertrain from a 456 is fuel injected. You could distinguish it, but you still get all the good stuff that you'd want. And even some of the really rich people who have some of the $20 million Ferraris are pursuing and purchasing these high quality replicas because it lets them actually be able to use the Ferrari that is otherwise just an investment in their garage, and it's interesting. I think it's a pretty cool way to spend $600,000. I think this is a kind of a real car enthusiast way to spend $600,000 as opposed to kind of a poser way. Like $600,000 is a lot of money for something that doesn't have provenance, but is an incredible driving experience, and that's exactly what you're getting in this car. Like you'll never be able to tell people, oh, it's a Ferrari. You'll never be able to get those auction results, whatever. But like you will probably have a more exciting experience than basically anybody else who spent $600,000 on any car in existence. And I think that's kind of a cool thing with these Ferrari replicas. I really do.
100% agreed. It's so cool. And like real money.
Well, like I had mentioned before, that Diablo that was for sale at the same time, similar vibe in that a 91 Diablo with the miles that it had is probably a 200s car, maybe 300. This one was not only service to the 9s, but it also... It had been a bit of a recreation to look like a Diablo GT, which is a multi-million-dollar car, or at least well into the millions. So $385 for this car is strong if you just thought of it as a 91, a very early Diablo with 16,500 miles. When you add into the fact that it had documented service of $125,000 and OE recreation, or not recreation, OE parts from the Diablo 6.0 and the headlights, the GT, it has the SV wheels. Like it's a bit of a hodgepodge, but I think again, as a driver, this is one where you're, okay, as a driver, I can say it's a 91 Diablo and drive it hard, but then I get the look in theater of a like late model 7-figure car. Very similar. And apparently the market didn't mind. They didn't value this as a 91 Diablo. They valued it somewhere in between.
No, I mean, I think it's pretty clear that it's, especially with the recent servicing, and the look is amazing. I mean, it really does look
so
like
cool.
a GT. It's pretty cool. I think those are both
Very
pretty cool results for cars that may not make the purists happy and thus may not be like as great of an investment as buying a perfect numbers matching car. But the benefit is you get an amazing driving experience. It's like a cool thing to do as an actual enthusiast, for sure.
100%.
We got to move on to the questions, which today are brought to you by Nick Roshan. Nick, thank you so much for wearing that shirt on the podcast today and dressing up for us. All right. A lot of great questions today, including several for Nick. Starting with, from Mr. Magoober. Dear Nick, dear group, can we please try to convince Nick to buy a V10 Ford Excursion? It would allow Nick to fit into the V10 club, and it has 3-row seating like he wants. Nick, take us through. You're just talking about driving the Super Duty. You're talking about driving a Ford. You seem like a Ford guy. A couple of us want V10s. I got a V10. You obviously follow. What are you thinking on the Excursion front?
There are a lot of interesting paths into the V10 club that doesn't involve buying a fast car. I would probably be more like the S6, S8 crowd, or even an E60 M5. However, the problem with the Excursion would be the 3-row cars for my wife. I cannot in a million years imagine my wife moving around an Excursion through town. At least it's not diesel like that. That would be a slightly easier sell, but like that is a lot of car and not a lot of amenities inside. I do think they're really cool, and as much as everyone loves the 7.3 Excursions, they're like double the price, if not more, than a V10. So you got to kind of wonder at some point it becomes interesting, but that's not the top of my list for a 3-row SUV.
Too bad.
I think we should,
because how cool.
It would be
There
cool.
are also companies that do conversions of an F-250 to an Excursion. And I think that I haven't seen a new F-250 conversion, but somebody must do them. And I think like
You've sold some on the
brand
site.
new F-250 excursionated would be great for you.
Yeah.
It's a lot of car. You got to remember, I got
a lot of man.
really tiny driveway, so we'd be sticking out into the road. It would become a problem. I want to find the smallest 3-row SUV I can find while still being minimally functional.
I got you if you want. Kia Rondo. It's not an SUV,
They
but
never did a 3-row in the States.
You can get them in outside of the States.
And then
No, they did.
install
They did. I thought we confirmed they did.
the 3-row yourself. Next question here from Quasi Brad. Dear Doug, do you think you'll ever find another car you'll keep long term? It feels like recently you've been losing interest in your cars within a year or so, like the RS2. I own the RS2 for 3 years. Internet time is so different from real time. People say this to me all the time. Oh, you're already selling it. Well, yeah. It's 3 years. What do you want from me? That's an enormous amount of time. It's like a lease. I would wager the MK4 Supra will share the same fate. Do you see yourself buying another car that will be a mainstay in your fleet like the Ford GT, Carrera GT, or Countach? No, I don't. That's probably never going to happen again. Car prices are cars are too expensive. All the stuff I really think is amazing is like too expensive, and I'm not going to put I'm not going to put any more money into cars right now. I already have way too much of my net worth in cars, which was not intended. The cars have all gone way up in value since I bought them, and I didn't really try to do that. And I definitely would not have bought these cars today, given today's financial situation, but it's sort of what's happened.
You have kept buying cars.
But his point is I've kept buying revolving cars.
Yeah, which is true.
Keepers.
Yep. By the
Nick,
way,
you agree with
confirmed, the Kia Rondo did have a 3rd row in the U.S. Thank you.
No. Nick, you agree with this?
I totally agree. I'm in the same boat where it's like, okay, there's a functional cap on how many cars you can own at the same time. You know, if we only are going to live to 100 years old conservatively, like that, you have a finite number of years, a finite number of cars you can own within those years. You gotta keep moving them through. Like 6 to 12 months is a good amount of time to get to learn a car. Frankly, I've sort of wondered that with the SLR. The Mercy I kept for 3 years, but the SLR might be like a 1-year car. Not because I don't love the car, but I want to keep cycling. Like there's a lot of cars I've never owned, I've never experienced,
like a
V10
Ferrari
Excursion. Yeah, probably neither of those two, but At some point, I will say I want a new experience. It's been a good run. I put the miles on. I think also the other thing is you and I both put a decent amount of miles on these cars. And at some point, you want, like your Ford GT idea, you sell the car before the miles get prohibitive to make it hard to sell.
You got to get out. At some point, you kind of
got to get out and lower the odometer down and do the same thing. So my SLR's at
if you keep doing it, if you just keep driving it, eventually the concept of owning it for a couple years and getting out for not much money, you'll get screwed. Like you'll have put too many miles on the car and you won't be able to get out.
I sold my Mercy at 19,900 and some miles. You know what I mean? Like I agree it's stupid and really functionally there's no difference between that and 20,000. But psychologically, some people set caps on how many miles they're willing to look at. Like that also comes a factor where you're just like, all right, it's time to get out before I go to the next milestone on the odometer, and people start to look at it differently, even if that's the wrong mentality.
Or before whatever might break at or whatever needs for that service at 20,000.
There's that too. Nick, you're in the garage here with my Supra. What do you think of it?
You know, I didn't get a chance to look at it very closely. The red is beautiful. I really like it. It glows. It looks like a really clean, nice car. I don't know if someone's wiped it down or just arrived that nice, but I love the Mark IV. I mean, in terms of its looks, like I feel like you unfairly set us up in previous podcasts to explain that we were disappointed and you got it. I'm stoked that you got in on it. I think they're crazy money. Like someone actually, because I continue to, for whatever reason, be your backdoor where people will send me cars and say, send this to Doug. So someone else sent me one and I'm like, oh, that looks cool. How much you want? And they were like 155. And it's like, gosh, that is a lot of money for a 90s Toyota product. However, it's so special. It's so cool. As someone just obsessed with the Fast and the Furious and wears my Fast and the Furious shorts every night to bed, I'm pumped for you. Like, it is cool. I do wish you would mod it, but they do. You see it in person and it is stunning. It does grab your attention. It punches way above the weight of what I would expect.
Filippo, have you seen this thing yet?
I saw it briefly. To spend zero time looking at it, I'll be honest.
All right. Next question. I appreciate that, Nick. I think the rest of the group doesn't care. I am incredibly excited for it.
Good.
Much more than I was for my 993 Twin Turbo. This is a good question, dear from Jordan. Dear team, if you actually lived in a traffic city, New York, Atlanta, DC, etc., and you had to commute with a car, what would be your perfect daily traffic sitting commuter? Nick, what if you still had to drive downtown? What would you do?
I would probably get a PHEV. I don't know which. Something, honestly, even like a Rivian, something to that effect, like the R2 would be interesting.
And efficient by EV standards. I like it.
Yeah, if I wanted to go crazy.
People, when they talk about EV efficiency, it annoys me so much.
Well, I know, but like again, you get a cheap lease for like $300 a month, like whatever. Yeah. The Ioniq 5, for instance, that kind of looks cool, contrarian daily commuter. I personally, the other car I'm really into is I really want a second gen SVT Lightning, and that could be like a really fun daily for 20 grand or what have you. And then it wouldn't get great gas mileage, but how fun would that be to daily?
You'd sit in bumper to bumper every single day in that. Be reasonable.
Well, I'd leave before the traffic got real bad. I'm an early bird anyways.
Filippo, what would you daily... Nick's given us nothing. He said a plug-in hybrid, then he named 3 electric cars and a Ford Lightning gas. Filippo.
I don't know. I think that I would really struggle to buy something that's not very least a hybrid. If you're going bumper to bumper traffic, you're stopping and going, you may as well use a battery and electric power to massively decrease your fuel costs. It depends then on what the rest of the drive is, what my other requirements is. Like, do I need to be able to carry my family? Do I need to be able to, is this just for me to commute in? Do I have somewhere to charge? Do I have somewhere to charge at work? There's a lot of factors. I do think a lot of EVs are actually really great options for this, even and maybe especially in the Northeast or somewhere where there's snow, because there are range goes down in the winter, but there are all-wheel drive and can be really good fits for that. I will say, if I wanted gas, I actually think that my GTI is a really, really strong commuter car that's a little bit more fun. Yes, it's a manual, but I've never found that.
Do you still have the GTI?
Doesn't matter. Yes, it's a manual. I've never found that to be that challenging. It's pretty light clutch, easy to drive, and has all like the tech things while being comfortable. So like, if you want a gas, something like a GTI is a good.
Nick, you
option.
agree he's the laziest person you know, right?
I can neither confirm nor deny that, but it is interesting that he's saying my GTI.
I think, it's no joke, I think he's one of the laziest people I've ever met. Like the least action-oriented people I've ever met.
He's been collecting cars. He's buying and selling. He's making moves. I don't agree with that.
The answer is an E-Class all-terrain. Sean just texted me and said it should be an i8.
No, it should not be. He put that in the doctor too. It should not be, and here's why, Sean. Yes, it's a hybrid, but the visibility is bad.
And it's
if you're commuting
uncomfortable and low.
constantly-
But Filippo, Sean is a BMW man now. What you need to
Right, he has an
understand.
M2.
Sean's a BMW man now. So he's over here. He loved my E31 question. He's like, oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Nah, he's a modern BMW guy. He doesn't know any of this.
I'm surprised. Sean famously had a Cayman that he put like 150-some thousand miles and commuted in LA traffic on a regular basis. You can get those for like 20. That would actually be a really interesting commuter if you don't have snow. Also,
But-
I think a Panamera, an early Panamera, you can get
hybrid. If
super
you're
cheap,
commuting and
super
you can
comfortable.
charge, a EV is the razor. An EQS would be an incredibly comfortable option.
Speaking of Sean, by the way, Sean's Bad Color G-Wagon is for sale. It's currently live on the site,
Yeah.
carsandbids.com. And you can bid on it and buy it. And
No reserve.
wrap it, presumably. And
No, it's a good color.
and Nick, are you thinking about going anywhere with this G-Wagon, Sean's G? You think about stepping up and throwing a bid?
He loaned it to me once. I took it to the dermatologist. It was great. I felt
Did people
very
think that
fancy.
you were the dermatologist?
People thought he was an off-road king.
I think I was the only one there not getting a Botox or liposuction type thing. But yeah, no, it did. I did enjoy how it drove. It's funny. Sean's is like the facelift version, I guess, and people pay a premium for, I want to say, 13 to 15s. And you do say inside it is way nicer than I thought. Having driven a lot of G55s and sort of the earlier ones, they did iterate to make the interior a much nicer place to be, where I didn't feel like I was making a big sacrifice driving like an old behemoth. Like it felt nice in there. So I don't know what that premium is worth to me personally, but I do see why they are worth more, the later models versus the earlier G-Wagons.
Yeah. That's true. I wish Sean the best in selling it. I wish Filippo the best in being more action-oriented. And I wish Nick the best in leading the kid parade on the 4th tomorrow. Thank you, everyone, for watching our beautiful, beautiful podcast. Nick, do you have any parting thoughts for us today?
I was going to shout out Sean's G-Wagon, so I got nothing for you once again.
Happy 250th birthday, America.
Happy birthday to
right.
America, a country that gave me my Ford GT and many other cars that I own, but none of you do because you are Eurotrash snobs. Goodbye, everyone. Thank you so much for watching our beautiful podcast.
What about most of our audience where our most popular makes are German?